Blog Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Shadow Radio Wednesdays. I am your host, coming to you live from the cornfields of the state of Indiana. My name is Justin, founder of Shadow Chasers Investigations and host of your show tonight. And I am joined by my co-host, Wendy. You there, Wendy?
I'm here, Justin. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. How are you?
Oh, peachy. Just peachy. Sweltering away here in Kansas City, but otherwise good. The air conditioning works, knock on wood. I won't do that or the dogs will bark, but we're doing great.
That's great. So we have a great show tonight. Why don't you tell us about our guest?
Okie dokie. Tonight we have the members of the Beyond Expo Las Vegas family. We have Travis Short, Susan Bell, Mike Loop, Kelly Coffey from Kelly and the Raw, and I believe Guy will be calling in any time, and I think Mike is on the line too. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started if that's okay with you, Justin. Okay. Hello, Beyond.
Hi.
Hey. Hi.
Hey.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Wendy, when you said you were peachy, I am calling you guys from the wonderful peach state of Georgia.
Oh, fantastic. Are you vacationing?
I'm here.
Having a good time?
Well, I'm from Georgia. I'm from a little town just north of Atlanta called Cartersville, and I'm here with my mom and my family, and I just flew in last night. So, and the weather is kind of smoltery here, but it's not that hot. So everything's going well here. My mom is excited, and I'm excited to be with her. So I'm going to be here for about 2 weeks.
Marvelous. Glad you could get away
Sounds
from...
like fun.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, Wendy, Justin, I should have told you. You guys could have used Georgia on My Mind as the intro tonight.
Oh,
I know.
Man. Hindsight. Hindsight's 20/20.
I know. I'm operating at like 50% today. My bad. I apologize.
Oh, are you doing okay, Travis?
I am. It's just been a very busy week. Lots of things going on top of work here. With our clients and the Beyond Expo event. It's also back-to-school time, so had my kids out shopping this weekend for back-to-school supplies. Today there was open house and orientation. I've been running around and trying to get all of that taken care of. And so it's just been, every day this week has been Monday so far. It's kind of like I'm living Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. I wake up on the same day over and over and over again.
Oh, dear. I hate when that happens.
That's like 51st dates, Travis.
Exactly. You know, it couldn't be a fun day at the beach that I get to relive. It couldn't be, a day in Vegas from, a year ago or a couple of years ago. No, it has to be the same day of getting school supplies ready and so forth and so on. But that's
Vegas,
other than that, it's peachy in Virginia too.
Vegas. I have yet to go to Vegas. Honestly, and I've always wanted to go there. What's it like in Vegas?
Wow.
Travis, you want to go there?
Have you seen the movie The Hangover?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's that multiplied by 10.
Really?
Well, if you go with me and Charlie.
And by the way, guys, I was actually a part of the Hangover 3 movie. You might have missed me, but I was on set a few days, and you would not believe what's so funny. You would not believe how really calm and collected everybody was on the set of Hangover 3. And it looks like it's total chaos but the guys are just so wonderful on that. But what they portray, Travis is totally right. Multiply that a lot, and you've got anything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Anything
Absolutely.
goes.
Well, you know, they got all these shows that are on the Travel Channel or on Sci-Fi or whatever, like Pawn Stars and Counting Cars and American Restoration. All those shows are based in Vegas. That's where all those shows are. And I look at those shows, and Vegas, look at like on those shows, it's just from like the way the streets look and the way everybody is. It's almost like people how people are in Chicago. And then I watch movies like Hangover, and it's like, oh my God, Vegas can't be like that. So I was just wondering.
It's really like that down on the Strip. It can be very chaotic down there. They actually have beautiful, because I lived there for a long time, and they have beautiful streets and beautiful parks, and most of the time kids don't even see what happens on the Strip. And, you know, they don't really realize that they are living in Sin City because it's just not that way in the living areas. Very clean city, very, very clean. So they take a lot of pride, you know, in our living areas. We have green belts and all sorts of things. So it's not, all of it is not what you see. But on the Strip, that's a lot of times what happens with Hangover 3. You know, you have the housewife from Iowa and all of her friends, and they're coming, and wow, what they do sometimes you would not believe.
So are there a lot of haunted locations in Vegas? Does anybody know if there are? Because I know that they usually, like casinos, when they get old, they just blow them up and build new ones. So they really don't have a whole lot of old buildings from what I hear.
Well, actually, there are so many different things in Las Vegas. One is Cathedral Canyon. That is an area where the Native Americans, it is said that they were buried in the walls of the canyon, and also the first settlers. Bonnie Springs is a ghost town, and the saloon there and the opera house are said to have spirits there. I think Ghost Adventures has done something there. A lot of different shows have been there. They're all over Nevada because the settlers coming through and so many things happening to them. There's reportedly quite a few places that were haunted.
And to echo what Susan was saying, Charlie and I have been to the Opera House that she's speaking of. We didn't actually have any activity or any encounters, but, you know, just outside of Las Vegas, you've got Rachel, Nevada, so you've got Area 51 with the UFO activity, government conspiracies, and Charlie and I have been to Area 51 on numerous occasions. We're doing some research on a documentary film that we're hoping to get underway in sometime in the future. So you've got a lot of interesting hot spots in the Vegas, in the general Las Vegas area.
Will they be on the haunted tour that you guys have, the Beyond Haunted Tours?
Yeah, there's so many things. If you go, one of the most interesting places, and Travis, I don't know if you've been there or not, one of the really interesting places to go is called Red Rock Canyon. And the hieroglyphics, everything there, all the writings, it's just amazing what you can see. And when you come down into the valley, the Valley of Fire, when you come into it, all of the mountain area, everything is red. And, of course, because it's this red clay type situation that's all over the place, of course, that is rumored to be the blood of Native Americans and the settlers and everything. Who knows? But the entire area is this red clay looking. And so that's why they call it the Valley of Fire.
Neat. Guy has called in. Guy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
How are you all?
Marvelous.
We're great. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. Doing very well.
Guy, you want to kind of run over, kind of some of the stuff that you're doing right now so everybody will want to come out to the expo and see you?
I certainly can. I'm always happy to talk about myself.
Absolutely. We know.
Guy Grundy.
Yeah. So
hopefully.
the main thing that I have going right now is obviously the Lackey with Sean Piccinino, which is the featured film there, which is something I'm very proud of and excited to be involved in. And then I'm also working with making another movie called Any Which Way They Come, based off the Clint Eastwood movies, Any Which Way But Loose and Any Which Way You Can. So I'm very excited about that. And just bringing basically when we talked about why I wanted to be involved, the moves and everything, my passion is to be famous and well known. That's something I've always wanted ever since I was a kid. And that simply comes back to me having abandonment issues as a child. My father left when I was young. My mother mistreated me. And it just drew a huge amount of insecurity in me. And it's affected me all my life. And in some ways, though, it's affected me positively, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be the man that I am now without all those things forcing me to try to be what I think a man would be. And I kind of realized that why I want to be involved in this, by putting myself in the spotlight, I'm able to reach and affect other people. Some people go, I want to be a motivator and want to do this. But if you haven't really done anything that's successful, how can you motivate anyone? You may be a motivational person, but if you've got no money and you haven't achieved anything, you're someone who can talk well, but you really haven't achieved anything, so I can't see how you can be a motivator. Come on, you can do this. So I'm finding now that through the hardships and the dilemmas living on the street at 13, not being able to write at 13, that I'm able to, people say, well, you've got a pretty cool story, and I'm something I'm very proud of, but more than that, it enables me to reach other people and say, hey, they know who I am, and then they hear my story. I'm not someone who's had an easy life. I'm someone who's worked for it. I've been down, and if that's an inspiration to other people, I'd say that not in an ego-driven way, but it's becoming the man I want to be, and then I can help others, because I've had people that put their hand on my shoulder at the gym when I was a little kid and made me feel like a man. And I always said to myself, if I could give that feeling back to another young man or a young woman or whatever, just by giving them a look and just saying, hey, hang in there, you're doing a good job, because that's all it was to me. Just a guy in the gym who was like someone who was huge, I looked up to, just walked up to me and just said, hey, I see how hard you work, you've got my respect. That changed my whole life in that one thing, because someone I admired talked about me, he noticed me, and it helped me, and this is my opportunity to give that back. And people say, oh, you're so nice, Grundy, you're a nice guy. I am a nice guy, but no one in this world does anything that doesn't feel right to them. The feeling that I get from helping other people and inspiring them, I'm doing that for me more than them, because it makes me feel so good to know that I do it. So I am a nice guy, but I get a kick, and it makes me feel good to help motivate other people and see them hear your story and go, well, bro, that's pretty cool, and, maybe I can do it. So that's why I'm involved in this. I'm able to give back. At the same time, I get to stroke my ego. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, you have been, I can tell you've been working with Beyond Expo. Wendy, he's just been a godsend to us, and he's really helping us out right now. I'm not sure that he knows how much, but he is, and he just keeps sending people our way, and it keeps being positive, and he's such a hard worker, and anytime he gets a chance to support those with special needs, and he has worked with a pro fighter. What was the guy, the special needs that you worked with?
Stevie Z is actually a bodybuilder. He was a gentleman that, for instance, at Gold's Gym Venice, I've been a two-time Mr. Australia. I've been second at the World Championships. I've been a pro fighter, and I do the acting. So in Gold's Gym, which is church to me, that's my holy grail. That's where I travelled halfway around the world to get to. I'm pretty well known, and I take a lot of pride in that. And long story short, there was a guy in the gym who suffered from cerebral palsy. And I don't know if it's God giving you a nudge or whoever you want to call it, the inner spirit, that just said, go talk to him. So, and it's happened to me like 3 or 4 times in my life, a clear thing where that's happened. And I walked up and said, hey, I'm Grundy, how are you? We became mates. He was getting ready for a bodybuilding show. He was one of the people who had that revolutionary puck inserted into his stomach, which would put adrenaline or some kind of chemical to help him work. And long story short, we trained together and worked together. And I was very well thought of in the gym because of my achievements and that, and I'm very proud of that. But the most respect I ever got was with Stevie, because what I would do was, he suffered from cerebral palsy, he suffered from it quite badly, and we would box together. And he said to me, I said, you want to be treated like a normal man, right? He goes, that's what I want. I said, all right, we'll put on the gloves. You're going to earn that right now. So I pretty much just beat the hell out of him. I hit him. I knocked him down. I said, get back up. Get back up. And when you spar with another man and you hit each other, you hate each other, but afterwards you have a lot of respect. And he kept getting back up, and then he would get angry, and I would let him hit me. And we actually had a little fight where I let him win in the end, but he was actually almost crying at the end, and people were all applauding and cheering. And it was like, wow, everyone goes, Grundy, you're such a nice guy, but I seen in his eyes when I looked at him the suffering and the turmoil and the frustration of not being able to walk straight, not being able to do the things that I take for granted. And a reason that I got involved in this, I've also become a spokesman for a brand ambassador for autism in Australia, is when my daughter was born, there was a possibility, they pulled me aside, there's a possibility your daughter's going to have Down syndrome. And it's a very minute possibility. We can stick some kind of thing in there to find out, but that could also kill her. But, well, no, I said, listen, that's my kid either way, and I'm going to have it. I did that little thing. I walked away and I said, God, you spare my daughter from this. I will do what I can to make this right. And, you know, we've all had those talks. I've been in jail with $1 million bail over my head. I had that talk then as well. And God came through with me on both times, and now it's my turn to give back. I realise how blessed I am. I've broken my neck in 3 places. I've herniated disc in my neck. I've had 3 shoulder reconstructions. I've broke my arms and my legs. But I'm still here. I kept getting put together like the bionic man, and these people from birth never had that opportunity. So I believe God gives everyone, or whoever you want to call it, you're put on this planet the way you are for a reason. And, you know, it just makes me so blessed to be who I am and so blessed that my daughter is. And when it makes you feel appreciation, you want to go out there. But when I'm doing this for these people with disabilities, I'm not doing it to try to make them feel better or to nurture them. I'm doing it out of respect and if I can make a difference. But I don't pity them because they don't want pity. No one wants pity. I lived on the street and people would try to help me. I was like a dog. I'd snap at them. I didn't want anyone. I wanted them to understand, but I didn't want pity. So when I deal with these people, you know, I've got also a lot of gay friends, guys or girls, and the butch women, and I finally understood, for instance, where there were butch women, I would call them sweetie. I was trying so hard to make these women like me. And then I talked to a friend of mine who I trained. She goes, they hate being called sweetie. If you call them mate, they're going to think you're the greatest guy in the world. So my point in that is just one little change and a shift. And I was like, I can't believe it. Here I am working as this big bad doorman. Everyone sees me, and these women that are little dykey and they butch, whatever they call themselves that, I'm sweetie, honey, and I didn't realize that I was insulting them, and then obviously I asked, and then the answer was provided. So that's something that always stuck with me. Ask some questions. Hey, look, I can see I'm annoying you or upsetting you, and I want to know why. Maybe I don't want to fix it, but I do want to know why, and I did that. And the same with people with disabilities. People go in there with all these ideas of what to do for them. How about you ask them what they want? What do you want from all this? Because, like I said, we all do things because it makes us feel good. Let's do this for them. Is it what they want? And the money that's going to them, you know, I think they should have a say in what they want because you know what, no one knows what they want better than them.
Well, you know, having Skylar, and Skylar has Down syndrome, I can tell you the respect and being treated just like everyone else, that's what he wants. He wants to be just like us. And he is like us. That's what most people don't understand. You know, he may have things that are different from us, and 37 chromosomes. He has one more chromosome than we do. But he's still just like us. He loves, he plays, he eats. He does everything just like us. Now, granted, there are those that are more severely affected, and it's, you know, sometimes it's a little bit difficult. But they, you know, particularly with Down syndrome, autism, even cerebral palsy, and a lot of different afflictions that, you know, happen to a child at birth or those kind of things, you'd be surprised as a whole for the general public to know what they're capable of.
It'd be amazing, completely amazing. I was basically born with diabetes. Very sick little girl at times, but, you know, Mom treated me the same as anything else. I was held accountable. I was normal in most respects. I'm a little short, but, you know, a lot of people are a little short. But, you know, here I am almost 47 years later and still going strong. So I completely applaud what you all are doing, though, because I do understand people looking at you like you've got no brains and can't understand a thing, and oh, poor you, and it's like, just let me be and let me do it. Get out of the way, guys.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly the way it is.
Yeah, good.
Skyler, Skyler's a neat freak, a total neat freak. He's, he's really, really neat.
A little obsessive on it, or is that just his personality?
You know what? I don't think he's obsessive. More than anything, he just likes a neat environment. He likes stability, and he everything he does. When he finishes eating, he takes his plate, empties it, and he's just that kind of person. He likes to take care of the task at hand.
Very nice, just organized and structured.
Exactly. Do we still have Guy on? Because I know he has a client.
Yes,
yep,
we do.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I know that you have a client that you're training, right, tonight?
Yeah, I'm just about to. I'm actually sitting in the car doing the interview right now.
Okay.
Well,
I kind of thought it's coming up on that time, so I said let me say, and Wendy, you can say whatever. But Guy, thank you so much for being on again, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, by the way, I'm going to call you, Guy, and let you hear my mom talk. Okay, so you'll get a real idea of a Southerner.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Hey, Guy, this is Travis Short. This is the first opportunity we've had to be on one of the programs together talking about Beyond Expo, but I wanted to say it's been a pleasure hearing you tonight and listening to your story, and looking forward to seeing you in Vegas.
Cool, mate. I appreciate it and look forward to working with you also.
Yeah, very excited. Thank you.
Cool, guys. All right, thank you for having me on. I've got to go and make the cheddar so I can put the dinner on the table for my little one.
Okie doke. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to call us again, Guy, and I hope we'll catch you next time as well. Have fun.
You will. Whenever I can be on, I'm more than happy to be there.
Thank you, dear.
Have a great
night.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So it sounds like
then.
this expo is going to be pretty amazing. And this is going to be in October?
It is. Is this Justin?
Yeah,
Yep,
this is Justin.
Justin, okay. Hi, I didn't get to meet you the last time. And we've got so many new things coming on board, and we've got some changes that are going to be made, and it's just amazing. We now, and I'm fairly certain, I'm like 99% sure, that the famous Wolfpack Special Forces are going to be doing some demonstrations for us at the expo. And their trainer, one of their trainers, is actually a big supporter of ours, and he is working on the movie with Guy. And so these guys are called the Wolfpack. I think you can probably go on Facebook, or you may go online and check them out. But these are special forces, and they train in, I believe it's jiu-jitsu, and it's combat fighting. So that should be really interesting.
Man, I wish I could learn some kind of karate. I just don't have the ability because of I sort of have some medical issues. But when I was a kid, I always wanted to learn karate or any type of fighting like that. But it's definitely interesting to see, and it's fun to watch them train. Like if they're showing people how to do certain things, it's amazing the things that they can do.
Yeah, they're going to bring people up and let them train with them. So and Master Steve Pizzo will be there, and he's got, I believe, a 6th degree or 7th degree black belt. He's awesome. You'll love meeting him because he's just not only is martial arts, but his story is fabulous, and he's just an inspiration. And Steve will be one of those that are instrumental in helping us plan our athletic department at Pace Waters College, and will help us. We want to build, along with our college, a residential training center for those that want to be in the Special Olympics, and they will get a chance to train full time. And so Steve is going to be a big part of that.
Oh, that's amazing. As far as the expo, are you guys going to be filming the expo at all for anything, or do you guys have anything planned for that? Like film the actual expo itself?
It will be filmed completely, almost all of it. Travis, you want to jump in there and tell them that you're working on some things?
We are. One of the big things that we do want to do is to document this entire endeavor and as to how it actually comes together there at the venue. And I am working on a couple of different platforms once that filming is taken care of where that will be available for individuals to watch and enjoy if they're not able to come. But we really are hoping that a lot of folks are going to want to come and take part in this event. There's a great lineup of celebrities, individuals with paranormal experiences, backgrounds, psychic mediums. We've got some great publicists that are going to be there. Of course, Bill Bean, one of my clients, is going to be there talking about his book, Dark Force. We've got just a power-packed lineup, and as Susan mentioned tonight, about the Wolfpack, that's news to me. She and I haven't had a chance to talk today, so we're still adding a lot of great entertainers and encounters that individuals can come and take part in over this weekend. There's even supposed to be a sign up and kick Travis's butt booth, from what I've heard, just because of a personal acquaintance of mine who has decided that they think that will raise all kinds of money if people can come and beat the crap out of me.
Yeah, her name wouldn't start with a W, would it? Would it, Travis?
No, it may. There may be many people that wanted to do this. I don't know. I just know it's for a good cause. I've been beaten up for less and worse causes, so why not?
See, that's the whole deal. And then we're also having a kissing booth, and that should be interesting. So a lot of the celebrities are taking part in that.
I get to kiss my butt booth, but not the kissing booth?
Oh, maybe. We're going to think about that one. I don't know. Do you guys think Travis should be in the kissing booth or not? You know something, Mike? We got to do a thing on, you and Kelly do a thing on Facebook, and Kelly, you do on YouTube, and let's see how many people want Travis to be in the kissing booth, or do we just want him to be the kick Travis's butt thing? So you guys, let's do a contest and see what we come up with. How's that?
Kicking and kissing booth.
I'm actually opposed because I still have some delusions that people like me, and I'm afraid this was dash those delusions entirely.
Maybe a dunking
Daniels.
Yeah.
You know something? I truly believe we're going to be able to do a dunking booth. I'm just saying.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I told you guys there's some changes that are going to happen, and they are. And right now, I haven't finalized everything, but I think we're going to be able to do a dunking booth. And I can't wait to see Guy Grundy, and if he will let us dunk him. I really want to see that. I really do.
I'll do a dunking booth if you won't let my hair get wet.
Mm-hmm. Serenity still wants the Jello in chat.
Serenity wants to chat. Oh, Serenity's there?
Yeah, Serenity is in chat.
Oh, great. I love Serenity. She's cool.
Tell Serenity that hi, Serenity. You're listening, so who knows? Hi, it's Travis. Good to hear from you. Glad you stopped in. Yes, it was your idea to have my butt kicked. So.
Oh, that's right. It was Serenity, not Wendy. That's right. I'm blaming you, Wendy.
I didn't say a word.
I know.
I don't even know it yet.
You're right. She's the one. With the name Serenity, that there's got to be just some viciousness behind that. Nobody is serene. Now, Wendy, you think of Wendy as being just very calm and serene. But Serenity, no way.
I like that name because it's the title of one of my favorite movies. Have you guys ever heard of the movie Serenity?
No.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Have you ever seen the TV show Firefly? It only aired for like a season. But it's a great TV series, but they did a movie called Serenity. It's a really, really good movie. I suggest watching it. Just a little off the subject thing, but it's just what that name reminded me of because that's the name of a movie.
Well, I think Serenity is so dynamic. I just think the name, if your parents named you Serenity, they must have been thinking, even with Wendy, because Wendy is like what is the word I'm trying to think of? I mean, I know wind, but that's not what I'm trying to think of. It's an action, it's an act of nature. That's what I'm trying to think of. Yeah, and so you're thinking these things, and you're envisioning what these people could be capable of. And see, with Wendy, I can see her just staring at something and all this wind blowing. And it's just coming in. It's like little whirlpools of wind. But for Serenity, I think of her as just causing chaos. and it's fun chaos. It's not bad chaos. It's just fun. And so, so I have all these visions when I think, even though I know what you guys look like, I still envision all this stuff. Don't take that away from me, okay?
No, absolutely not. You continue on with the fantasy. It's all good.
Exactly. We all have to have that.
Yes, we do.
Is Kelly still on?
I believe
I'm
so.
Here.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking. I'm glad my name's not Stormy.
All right, Kelly, I'm going to come up with something good for you too.
I'm just being called sunshine by a hair's breadth. So.
Well, no, with Kelly, you know what I think of Kelly? I think of Kelly in a bikini in what did we decide on? Jello. That's what I think of Kelly. Kelly's a little tigress, I told you my fantasy is just like out the roof. And with Travis's voice, that man could do anything. I mean, I can imagine the way he is with women. Can you imagine having that voice?
Oh, dear. Serenity Moore says Jello or chocolate pudding.
Tell Serenity is still up in the air, okay?
Still up in the air, Serenity.
See, everybody doesn't realize that we're all crazy in this little family of ours and the Beyond family. We're all nuts. So, to have a good time, you have to come out and just have fun with us. And a lot of good things, too, because we're going to do, Mike Lupus and Peter Sereno are doing 2 seances.
Ooh.
So, yes.
Yes, right.
Are you psyched for it, Mike?
Yes, I am. We are. It'll be a lot of fun. And Peter actually wants to mention about seances and a little bit history behind it and maybe one of his stories. So, Peter?
Oh, please.
All right. Well, a seance basically is a magic circle. People get around and hold hands, making a bond, etc. But it's actually nothing more than a form of channeling where you allow spirit to kind of come in and maybe kind of possess you or control you in some ways, and they give exact answers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then, of course, there's what they call physical mediumship. And the last one that I knew of that was really quite good was a man called Leslie Flint, British. And basically what physical mediumship is, you guys have seen the things in the movies where they do seances and the trumpets rise off the table and spin around in circles, and the voice of the dead person comes to the trumpet and gets into your ear. There's a lot of truth to that. But Leslie Flint, gosh, I guess in the 50s when he died, or 60s, he was the last physical medium. He was the last medium who was able to run a table where that event took place, where a trumpet would actually rise off of the table and go round and round. It took him 20 years to get it to do it, but still, he was the last one. And that's another form of spirit communication. So in the seances we're going to do, we're trying to keep it kind of in a traditional kind of sense, but only so many people will be chosen kind of thing. And then I might, was thinking of also doing what I call like a presentation of spirit, which is a form of seance as well, where I just work and interact with an audience. And that's pretty much it.
Cool.
Wow. Go ahead, Wendy.
I was just going to ask, are you trying to contact anybody in particular or just the spirits in general?
Just spirits in general, basically. In other words, around everybody, I don't care who you are, if there's things going on in your life, you're going to attract, departed loved ones or spirit guides or whatever. They're going to try to give you some sort of direction. That's how things work. And the trick is pay attention to the information we get, because people tend to allow logic to talk themselves out of things. And each one of us, including myself, if you can take a moment and think about those little things where you went, oh, no, I know I shouldn't do this. You go ahead and did it anyway, right? That's part of karma and things of that nature. But bottom line is like this. You're getting bombarded by spirit communication all the time. These little voices tell you what to do and what not to do, or what's right or what's wrong. When something's going to work, you're going to know it. When it's not going to work, you're going to know it. These insights, that intuition, that gut instinct, that's spiritualism in a sense, and that's the thing that people should follow. And you don't need to know why or how and all that kind of stuff and how things work, because you don't need to. All you got to know is that it's there, and it happens, and it doesn't. You see,
sure.
People tend to make things too complex all the time.
Just listen to the voice and go with it.
So, yeah, Peter, tell us a quick story about you doing a seance.
All right. Well, everybody has their failings and things like this, but I used to do this yearly seance at the Queen Mary all around the holidays, or, around October, Halloween and all that kind of thing. And it wasn't like exactly with the ship, but it was a group of individuals that tended to hang together all the time. And once a year at that time, they'd hire me and I'd do these seances. So I'd bring in all kinds of different information about spirit and blah, blah, blah. So it was one time at the Queen Mary, and it's kind of a long story, but some highlights I got to say because it makes sense. All the way of going there, I really didn't want to go. Something said, don't go, kind of thing. And so when I got there, the gals were there, and they're talking. They were even thinking of possibly even canceling the event. So I walked all the way up to the front of the ship. I guess they call that bow, where the restrooms are kind of angled and all that kind of thing. And so I had to go in there and kind of do my thing, kind of clear my head. And there's this guy standing next to me in this tuxedo, period kind of costume, which does take place aboard the ship, though. So it could be like people working there, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the person turns, and that's like a skull. There's no person there, and it basically evaporated and floated away. Because the Queen Mary does attract all these wayward souls. Of course, that's another story. So then going back to the seance thing, all these individuals went around, and directly across from me was a new person. It was a man, and he was over there. So I would hit each individual and bring in spirit. So when I came to him, this horrible thing kind of like took me kind of thing. And then the next thing I know, this little cigar out of nowhere floats down out of the ceiling and lands on the table. I pick it up and I look at this guy and I say the words, touche, okay? And that's going to make sense in a little bit. So this other woman was this boy's aunt. Now, in any case, the kid committed suicide 3 days before this event. And what happened was, my head like exploded. I had to get up from the table and leave, and one of the gals ran after me, and what basically I experienced was a gunshot going through my head because this guy's kid committed suicide, this man's son, 3 days prior. Then as things went round and round and round, then it turns out that the kid was kind of crippled from motorcycle accidents or whatever, so his spirit jumped inside of me. And then I couldn't walk. I lost all my legs, did not work no more. I had to get crutches and all this kind of stuff. And what the deal was, the boy wanted to communicate with his dad. So, long story short, again, it took 6 months. The guy's dad finally comes and sees me for a session to clear up all this emotional stuff about his son, the son's friends, and all kinds of things. In other words, the bad guy dad turned out to be a good guy dad kind of thing, you see? So then after that was over, my feeling, and things gradually came back, and I could actually start walking again. But it took me almost a week after him coming to see me. So how about that one?
That's pretty intense. My goodness.
Yeah. Oh, and then going back to the touche thing, right? I find out through his aunt indirectly that was the boy's way of saying, blank blank to you, to his dad, the effing word. You see? That's the way the kid would do it. He would go touche, so, bang bang. And so that's where that came from.
My goodness.
Wow.
Do you get grabbed like that a lot, or was this kind of an isolated event?
It was
Taking
an
over.
isolated event. Things do happen, but the point of the matter is I had a sense something wasn't quite right. And then, how hindsight is. And when I saw that spirit up in the front of the ship that evaporated, at that point, what I should have done, basically, is canceled the event for whatever reason, because that was a sign saying, whoa, look out. You see? So in other words, I'm not saying you guys would have it as intense as I do sometimes, but everyone gets these spirit messages, these little vignettes or little stories that play in your head, and you can see how things are going to work. And if you pay attention to those things, you understand how the bigger picture, how it all really works. And I know that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, you're absolutely right. But more than once I've listened to or ignored the little voice and afterwards gone, oh, holy crap. I'm glad I listened, or I should have listened.
Exactly. And what happens is we actually do listen, but we don't take action in what it is that we hear.
Right.
You see? And then what we do, is we get into that logical state. And then we try to figure out the problem in a logical sense and how we should approach it, where initially we should just trust that gut instinct. And 9 times out of 10, you'll never go wrong.
Agreed, completely.
It's really strange because my dad, when he really wants to, get my attention, he does one thing. And at first, like you say, I had no idea what it was. And after a couple of times that happened, and, I didn't, like you say, I didn't take heed to it. I was like, wow, okay, this is Daddy, because every time it happened. But right after my dad passed away, this song came on, and I can't really remember who did the song, but it was kind of like a country song, and it was called "I Hope You Dance." And do you know that song? Yep. My dad loved to dance. Yeah, and loved it. He loved it. So an odd song that your dad liked it all of a sudden started playing on the radio. Now, see, that's a direct spirit message right there. Yeah, and now I can go sometimes 6 months and I do not hear that song. And all of a sudden, there's that song. And sometimes I hear it 2 or 3 times within a day. And I know that, Daddy's trying to, he's trying to tell me something. And most of mine come from dreams. So, usually I try to, when I hear from him, and that's my way of kind of knowing, that I really pay attention to my dreams a lot more than I usually do.
Oh, dreams is the most common way people get spirit messages. Because that's that dream time. We have that downloading dreams, and we have real dreams, and then we have these, ones of our imagination and stuff, but there's also spirit communication dreams too, prophetic dreams of the future, etc.
Yeah, that's usually what I have is, and they're really, and I don't know on this show, Wendy, if you know about the story with me, but my only sibling, my brother, 2 months. Actually, like maybe 3 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, before he passed away, I dreamed of his funeral, and I dreamed of him being in the hospice. And then the final dream was when he actually passed away. The next morning, like 3 or 4 o'clock, in the morning, that's usually when I have my dreams. I dreamed that my dad came down and he picked my brother up in his arms, and I just remember that everything was white. That's all I saw was white, but it was very clear in my mind that my dad, and he picked my brother up in his arms, and he just, it's kind of like a moving, it wasn't like a tunnel or anything, it was just kind of all white. And then I saw both sets of my grandparents and, some other family members and friends and things that had passed on. And I saw that, and when I first told Kelly about it, I said, all I saw was love. There was nothing else in my mind but love. And I woke up, and, that was when I was preparing to go to Georgia and be with my family, when my brother passed away. But I just got this sense that my dad was trying to tell me, I have your brother. You don't have to worry. I have him. And so to me,
that you have to accept, because that would be the truth of it right there.
Exactly. And he was telling me, you don't have to worry. He's not gonna, he's not gonna hurt anymore. He's not gonna suffer anymore. I have him with me. And I think that was one of the greatest gifts I've ever received in my life, was that particular dream.
Oh my goodness, that you got me in tears.
Was it really
That's
colorful
beautiful.
and bright?
Pardon me?
It was real colorful. It was real colorful and bright too, wasn't it? In the dream.
Yes. Yes. Oh, incredibly. But it was. What amazed me so much was the fact that there was so much love. It was just incredible. I can't even describe it to you, because there was just so much love.
Yeah. You can't explain it. It's just something that has to be experienced and felt. That's the only way you can explain it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think Kelly, Wendy Kelly had a near-death experience as well, and she said that. Kelly, tell them about yours.
Well, it's kind of what you were explaining. It was reminding me of that. It's just never-ending love, and like you said, you can't really describe it because it's actually what you would call reality or real, and what we are experiencing is not real. So when you're out of these bodies, suddenly you know what's going on, and what happens outside your body is absolutely more real than anything that you experience inside this body. After you go out of your body, because people say, oh, you're hallucinating or whatever, it's like, no, this experience was more real than anything I've experienced here on this planet in this body. So, it's wonderful. There's absolutely no pain. It's absolute bliss. And then a warmth. And I didn't know how to describe it exactly. I call it warm, but there's really no temperature. And I don't know why I call it that. This warmth of love. It's like a blanket of love that just goes around you. It's like an eternal hug of unconditional love. It's just
peace and
amazing.
comfort. Mm-hmm.
Yes, but you're just bathed in it. It's incredible. And I mean, there's nothing on this planet that you can get really close. There's nothing you can do to replicate that feeling that you have outside of your body. It's just impossible. It's like 10,000 times what you do here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Warmth. Yeah. Yeah. I had remembered being. I came pretty darn close a couple times myself, and got terribly ill, in a coma, body chemistry not compatible with life when I was about 15, maybe 16. And the only time I remembered coming up out of the coma was when, they all said that, no, I was just hovering, was I came to just, I didn't wake up, my eyes were not open or whatever, but I could see my grandpa and hear my grandpa reading to me. And he was alive at that time and everything. But if I didn't get quite all of that you got. Maybe I was too young, or maybe I just didn't know what was going on, and it didn't have quite the same effect.
Possibly.
I don't know.
I read a book on kids who had near-death experiences, and their experience and what they get from it is slightly different than that of adults.
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it was so good for you, though.
Yeah. Yeah, their life changes in different ways. It takes, they say, 15 years to process a near-death experience. And I'm coming up on my 3rd-year anniversary of my near-death experience. So this is very interesting. In the long run, though, adults seem to do a whole lot better in life than the kids do. They seem to have more issues. The adults, I think, are able to take this experience, and they're old enough to go through a divorce sometime. That's what you have to do, because you become a completely different person than you were before you died. You're just so different that it's very. I know my husband had a hard time with me being just completely different than I was. And he wanted me to go back to the old me, in lots of ways. And I said, honey, I love you, but I can absolutely never go back. And I'm so sorry this is happening. I felt really bad that it was happening to my husband.
Well.
But at the end of this, we stuck together, and he's like, I love you that much that it doesn't matter what happens, I'll stick with you. And, now after almost 3 years of this, my husband is different. He was never open to things until this happened to me. So he has benefited a lot from this experience, and so have I.
Everybody did a little growing then.
Yes.
Always a good thing. Always a very good thing.
Did any of you guys, I know that Mike did, but did any of you guys actually see, I saw it on Saturday night, but I think it was 2020 from Friday night, Barbara Walters and Elizabeth Vargas. And they did an entire hour show on the paranormal on ABC. And it was so amazing. They went into different avenues. But one of the guys that I thought, and I really can't remember his name, but that I thought was so incredibly interesting was a neurosurgeon who was sure, because of his scientific abilities in doing brain surgery and all of that stuff, that when you're dead, you're dead. There is no afterlife. And it just so happened that several years ago, he contracted meningitis. And it was the really, really severe kind. And he had whatever happened to him during the night. They got him to the hospital. And when they got him to the hospital, he was literally he was in a deep coma. And his brain, there wasn't much activity. He stayed in a coma for 7 days, and they were, I think, going to. And on the 7th day, he woke up. And he tells, right after that, he chronicled everything that during those 7 days he did. And he said that it was amazing. Just everything was vivid. Everything passed before him. Everything was live. And he said it was the most incredible experience, that even as a brain surgeon and saving lives and doing all of the things that he had done as a doctor, he had never, ever experienced anything like it. And he had this girl that he had never seen before in his life, didn't know who she was. It excited him. He said he didn't know it was 7 days until he woke up. And he didn't know this girl. And he was like, well, who is this, kind of thing. But he said she never spoke. It was all done by telepathy. He would just think something. And at the end of the 7 days, she told him, you have to return. You have to go back. So relaying all the information, he just woke up after being in, basically no brain waves, this kind of thing. He just woke up, and he still was bothered. He wrote everything down so that nobody could think, he was making this stuff up and everything. So he wrote everything down, and then he talked to all of these different people who had near-death experiences. And he said, there were some similarities with everybody, and one of those being that the person that guided them around was a family member, like their dad or whatever. And he kept wondering, why did my dad, because his mother was still alive, but his dad had passed away. So he was like, why didn't my dad guide me? And he couldn't understand it. And then he realized he was adopted. And so he got in touch with, he found his family and his sister, and he learned that a sister had died when she was 34 years old. And, of course, he had never seen this woman or anything. So he asked the other sister, a biological sister, if she could send him a picture. Now, realize he had an artist back when all of this happened. He had an artist do a drawing of the girl that he saw during those 7 days. When his sister, after 2 months, sent him a picture of his sister that had passed on, the picture of his sister and the picture that he had drawn during those 7 days, it was the same woman.
Wow. Excuse me. That's wild and fantastic too.
Yeah, and he's like, nobody has to convince me anymore. I know there's an afterlife. And this man is a neurosurgeon.
Well, there are reports of that all over the world, people that are non-believers and then they have a near-death experience and then they see something like that and, and then their view completely changes. They usually find spirituality and find religion after, an experience like that.
Yeah, I had been, in the Baptist church in a Baptist family, and I started to do a lot of questioning, and this is greatly condensing the story. I did a lot of questioning, left the church, found God, basically. Then my family kind of turned on me and said, well, you're going to go to hell and, things like that, if you reject Jesus. So, at the time I was mad, and I even said there is no God, and, because I was just angry at the church and everything. So this is the state I was in. But my life improved. Like, I became a better person. I found what I call, now I call it source or the light. Like, I found God, and then in this state of, I don't, there is no Jesus. I'm very angry, and when I died, like, I didn't go to hell, and it was an absolutely wonderful experience and all that. So my family's having a really hard time with that. They don't want to even hear about my near-death experience because it conflicts with a lot of their belief systems.
Kelly, this is Travis. I think that was Kelly talking right then, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Coming, as I did, out of a Baptist background as well, and especially having been an ordained minister in the Baptist denomination, you're absolutely right. I mean, most individuals will find some way to try to say that flies in the face of what they believe, when in actuality, in the biblical accounts, there's a lot of individuals that had near-death experiences and full-death experiences and came back. Lazarus being one of the best examples. And, I think, quite frankly, I made this statement the other night on an interview. I applaud individuals that find God because, quite frankly, I think a lot of people look for him in the churches, and I don't really think he's there.
Yeah, I think
it's everywhere else.
Him there.
I mean, I think there's a lot of man-made tradition. There's a lot of dogma. There's a lot of ritual, but I don't think you find a whole lot of God, ever how you perceive God. and ever how you view God. I think the majority of the denominations and the majority of the churches are full of individuals that are simply going through motions and satisfying in their mind some perception of what they need to be doing. I do think when individuals actually have an encounter with a higher spiritual power, that changes them, and you yourself, I mean, you testified to that, to the fact that you changed and that your husband chose to grow with you, and that he changed in the process as well. And I think that is a true, that's true proof of an honest spiritual encounter.
And, guys, I, just like Kelly and just like you, Travis, I grew up, I'm from Georgia, people. I grew up in Southern Baptist and Southern Methodist. I was terrified of God. Terrified. It was hellfire and damnation and scared out of my
fear God
mind.
is what they preach.
Yeah, just totally scared. So when I was a senior in high school, I was like, you know what, I'm tired of being scared. There has to be something different. So I actually met this girl that was in college, and she was Catholic. She was Cuban. And I started going to Mass with her. And I'm going to use Serenity's name now, in a different context. But I had such peace and just incredible joy every time. It didn't matter what we did on Saturday night. I assure you, at 8 o'clock, we were at the University Catholic Center for Mass. And I went every time. It was just incredible. And then once I finished school and I joined my friends at the University of Georgia, we all went on Sunday. We went to 8 o'clock Mass in the morning. It's not that I truly adhere to everything that is Catholic, but I can tell you that every time I go to Mass, every time I go in the church, I get a peaceful feeling, and I get a rejuvenation. And for whatever reason, it just makes me feel better. And so that's the good thing for me. I'm like Travis. I think a lot of things are man-made, and I don't think that everything the Catholic Church does is correct. Don't get me wrong. But it's a place that I can go, and it's very peaceful. It's very serene for me. So I think if I haven't had a near-death experience, the closest I've ever come is seeing my dad take my brother up. But I can tell you the peace, and I never wanted for my children, I did not want them to know that fear, because I think our higher being, I choose to call him or her or whatever God, and because I choose that, it's my choice. And I believe that God is a loving and peaceful and kind human being. Or not human, but being. And light, and I choose to believe that. So I'm kind of like Kelly and Travis in that sense, that I think so much stuff is man-made now. And it scares people. I know it scared me as a child.
I was fortunate. Go ahead, Justin.
I think we're going to go to a break. We're going to play a song really quick.
We are never falling asleep, because today we climb the tree, and through the wall of sparkles that fall, we make a scene of make-believe, and we will never come down. No, we will never feel the ground. Dark nights and bright lights make shooting stars. Hang on, don't let go, you'll never know. fear. They brought us here, and we will never come down. No, we will never feel the ground. No, we will never come down. No, we will never feel the ground. Hey, we're never coming down. 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 We are never coming down. We are never coming down. We are nights and bright lights. We are nights and bright lights. Hey, we're never coming down. We're never coming down. Nights and bright lights make shooting stars.
Yeah, I'd like to get you all out in early November for that canine cancer fundraiser walk that I think I'm co-chair of. Y'all mind coming
You
to the
don't know?
Winery? Well, the lady's been
Did
kind
somebody
of
say winery?
the Belvoir Winery. It was on Ghost Hunters a few weeks ago. I've been out there. I knew it was haunted before they ever went there, but anyway, November 3rd. It's a Sunday. Come on out.
Where is it, Wendy? What's
In Liberty, Missouri, just a little bit outside of Kansas City.
Okay.
Mhm.
In November. Is it cold there?
You know, this will be its third year, but the previous 2 years it was perfect actually, about 60, 65 degrees.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
That's not bad.
No,
I don't
not
do
bad.
well in cold weather. I don't do well in cold weather.
Well, right now you
snow, count me out. I'm serious.
Nope.
I'm more the mud and Jello.
Mhm.
No.
And chocolate pudding.
Oh,
Chocolate
dear.
pudding.
Hey,
We're
what
back
about
on that, right?
Hey, what about doing a raffle ticket thing where people could buy raffle tickets and selected people who win
we are back. This
will get
Justin
a
from
session,
Shadow Radio
maybe like
Wednesdays.
a 15-minute or 30-minute session with me and Peter doing readings at the expo.
Cool. I'm for it. You know that I'm trying to get in every encounter. I'm trying to go to everything. They're pushing me out. They won't let me go, and I don't know why. But Justin, I have a great idea. This is crazy. If these guys are out in L.A., we would love to get them at the expo.
Well, you know,
that'd be awesome.
I can definitely bring it up to them. You know what? I'll send them a message and see you know, if they're open to do it. I'm sure they'll want to. So, but of course, I'm not I'm not their publicist or anything, or part of the band, but I'll definitely talk to them, and I'll definitely see what they say, and then we'll get a message back to you and see if we can get something set up, because that'd be amazing.
Wouldn't it be amazing? And I can tell you that I know a certain someone who is doing a cult movie, so to speak, and I don't know if he has all the music yet. So I might could get, put a little bug in their ear, because I know that they're going to use a lot of this kind of music.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
They got definitely. You know what? I'm going to have to send you links to. They have a YouTube channel. You know what? I'm going to track that down while everybody's talking. I'll post it in the chat. Are all you guys logged into the chat room right now, or no?
No.
No, I'm not.
No, my family kicked me out of the living room because they wanted to watch something, so I'm in the bedroom.
Aww.
Oh,
I'm in the bedroom too in my pajamas. How's that?
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do tonight. Tonight I will post a link to iShine's YouTube page on Shadow Radio Wednesday's Facebook page.
Oh,
wow, what's that?
I don't know.
Wow, aliens have landed.
World
no.
No.
It sounded like a cruise ship or something.
Hey, we're not talking Mothman, so I'm not going to take responsibility for it.
That was crazy. That was so crazy. Peter, what are you doing? I know it's you. Peter has brought it on us.
Do you all want to take
Peter?
Do you guys have time to take a caller?
Sure.
Okay, Joey, I'm going to put you on.
Hey guys,
Hi, Joey.
How's it going?
Hi. Good. How you doing?
I'm doing quite good myself. Just enjoying the show. I do have a question. I want to know what's your view on Bigfoot.
Travis.
Why do I go at the beginning of the queue? Wow, Joey. First of all, thanks for calling in and reaching out to us. Bigfoot is not one of my areas of expertise. Like I said, jokingly a second ago, much more Mothman. I've always been intrigued by Bigfoot. I think that I actually have just finished reading two books. One by Jeff Bellinger and the other by Dr. Robert Curran, and both deal with Bigfoot. And they both raise some very interesting connections between Bigfoot and some other paranormal events such as UFO activity and government conspiracies and things like that. Honestly and personally, I am holding my own personal opinion until I have some personal experience with it, but I am very open to the concept of Bigfoot, as I own most cryptids.
That sounds like me, too. It's like, as a person, it's like, if you don't have evidence to back it up, it's kind of just on the archive as a story.
Yeah, if we were talking, Mothman, I've gone on the record for the past 6 years as saying I don't believe Mothman is a cryptid at all. I believe Mothman is a spiritual manifestation and demonic entity. Bigfoot, I have seen certain accounts of interactions with Bigfoot or Bigfoot-type creatures that would lead me to a similar hypothesis. In certain instances, I'm not making that as an umbrella statement about all Bigfoot sightings, but about some of the instances that I have read, that I've seen, certain physical descriptions, sounds, the odors, the smells, the ability to appear and disappear with almost without a trace. All of those things would lead me to much more of a spiritual explanation than a cryptid explanation. At the same time, Bigfoot, unlike Mothman, has left physical evidence if you follow the line of thinking that the plaster casts that have been taken and have been investigated were actually those of a living animal and not those of hoaxsters.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely interesting.
Very definitely.
Well, for a period, I can't remember the period of time. It was like a year or so. I bought a professional camera, and I went outside the back door and just started taking pictures. And I took like 1.5 million pictures in a very short period of time, looking for orbs and, what's genuine, what's dust. I did a lot of experimentation during this time with orbs, and I took a whole lot of pictures. And in taking these pictures of orbs, you find out what's dust, what's rain, what are all these other things, and what are truly orbs. So I was able to pick out orbs. Like one night I went out and I was like, okay, if there are any angels up there, can you show yourself and let me take your picture? So I took a picture, and there were, I can't remember at the time, probably 10 or so orbs that made a pattern. And when I took the picture, and when you zoomed in, you could see faces in all of these orbs. And all of them had looked like older men with long white hair, long white beards. Those were the faces in these orbs, and it was like, holy crap, now I know what real orbs look like. So, and in all this, I've photographed all kinds of creatures in orbs, and some look animal-like, some look like they might be animals on other planets, and some of them look like Chewbacca, which is kind of like Bigfoot. So that's my thinking on this. Just from, this is not like going outside of my body and looking. This is just from evidence that I've collected just with a hobby, trying to capture orbs and seeing faces in the orbs. And here we have something that looks like Bigfoot. So I'm tending to think the theory of, okay, these are multidimensional beings.
Mm-hmm.
Then that would make sense to me as far as the evidence I've collected in pictures.
Mm-hmm. Charlie McCracken, my business partner in Aspire and one of the 3 founding partners of Black River Films, he and I actually were presented with some photographs by a gentleman there in the Point Pleasant, West Virginia area while we were doing the Mothman documentary film. And he had photographed orbs in the TNT area, the TNT area being the most famously known location of the original sightings of Mothman in 1966 on November 15th. The photographs that he had taken around some of the igloos there in the TNT area, there were several orbs, and when magnified by him, not by us, we did not actually investigate and try to authenticate them. They were just something that they were shown to us in passing one day. When he magnified the orbs, inside the orbs there were the faces of what appeared to be what I would describe as grays. The way that typical extraterrestrial gray aliens have been depicted. So the ability to capture images inside those orbs, I am familiar with. We have seen it before, so I think it's a fascinating topic. I think it's something that should definitely be investigated more thoroughly.
That kind of brought up, with orbs and faces in orbs, could it be possibly matrixing?
I'm sorry, kind of be what?
Matrixing.
Nature things?
Like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, like when you're shooting a picture at a window and there's a glare and it bounces back.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're talking about a lens flare, dust particles, those types of things that could just be playing an optical illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you will find in the paranormal field, it's almost as hotly debated as anything else. There are those that are very interested in orbs and are fascinated by them, and those that totally discount them. I myself...
Yeah, there's a lot of fake stuff out there. I've got a video out on the Second Sun people are going, oh, here's the second sun. It's right by the sun, and they were going out there photographing it. And I took, like a welder's mask. It's really dark, and put it over my camera. And I went out there because I'm like, I'm going to film this and, show them there is nothing there. And I go out there and look at my camera. I'm like, holy crap, it's really there. What the heck? It's right there. Oh, my God. And I started freaking out. And then I move that welder's mask. And as I move it, the second sun moves up and down. And I was like, oh, okay. All these people that are filming that, they have some kind of filter on their lens that they can't move around. Now, I'm able to move my filter and, and reposition that second sun. So I did like a little 2-minute video about Nibiru is here. And, I kind of freaked them out at the beginning of the video. And then in the middle of the video, I started to make it move. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Anyway, it went viral, and a lot of people saw that. So part of what I've done because of all of my experience is try to see what's out there and what is fake and what is real. What is what.
And unfortunately, the more technology advances, the easier it is to fake those types of things.
Of course.
And quite frankly, the harder it is to detect them in many instances, because the technology has gotten so good, even on a homeowner level, just on, going and picking up software at Walmart or Office Max or Office Depot. It's amazing what you can do.
And, it's hard for me to trust other people's stuff, but when I take a picture, it's like, holy crap, I know that what I took a picture of is actually there because I took it. And there was, I don't know if you call it ectoplasm. I mean, I've got these pictures for you guys can see them. There's a lot of stuff that I have photographed that you just can't explain. And it took the form of like 2 fish heads is the best thing I can think of right outside my back porch. I've got a really clear picture of them. And then about 2 pictures later, there was this weird stuff in the air, and it was like all of these skeletons, like these bodies stacked on top of each other. So I've taken all kinds of very strange pictures.
Wow. I can usually attribute these things to doggy nose prints on a lens or dog hair on a lens or doggy dust bunnies running around the yard. With my German shedders, you know how it goes.
That's because you don't want to believe, Wendy.
Well, no, I can usually turn it around and go, oh, my gosh.
I know.
Clean your office.
When the reality sets in, it's like scary. It's like, okay, where's the pillow so I can hide my head under it, not thinking that they can chop off the rest of you, right?
Exactly, yes. Yep, the ostrich effect.
Exactly. But me, I would be under that pillow. So see, I just love Bigfoot. I'm sorry. I love the whole concept. I may be crazy, and I would probably really get under the pillow and, do all these things. But I just think, even because I've been very lucky in my life, and I've traveled over the world, and I've lived in foreign countries, so I know the beauty, and particularly, I can tell you guys, when you're looking at the Sphinx or you're looking at the pyramids, you're like, how did this happen? And I know pulleys and everything, but you're talking ton. One of those slabs weighs like 2 tons, and did they have that kind of technology, have pulleys or whatever? How many men did it take to raise that, that size thing? So I've always thought that, there are other beings, extraterrestrial, whatever you want to call them, going on our same plane. It doesn't matter. I've always believed in them.
Yep, there's something there.
There's something
They're right
there.
on the
Exactly.
They're right on the left of you.
On the left of me,
Right.
right.
They're right on the left. Their dimension is very well parallel to ours, so they're just like an arm's reach away. So basically, just look to your left, and there they are. It's just we don't see them, or most people don't see them, and it's there.
Was Carl Sagan that has the quote, there are only two options in this world, we're either alone in the universe or we're not, equally or terrifying?
Yes, absolutely.
I love that quote. I think that's a beautifully articulated perception and perspective on the entire argument. You know, if we are alone in this universe, it's a terrifying thought. If we're not, that's still kind of terrifying.
Yeah, because we either way, either way, it's like, okay, because we're all alone, how did we get here, and were there other planets like ours, and now they're not, and what happened to them? So you're right, it's scary either way. Either way, it's like almost a fear of doomsday or something, I guess is the best way to put it. But,
well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but they did say that in our solar system a long, long time ago that Mars was once habitable and Venus was once habitable, I believe. And people have speculated that, that there could have been possibly intelligent life on those planets before, whatever happened to them, because they're not habitable now. But I just wanted to mention that.
Sure.
I think everything just transforms. Everything expands, it gets old, and then it retransforms into something else, and then it's inhabitable. And then some people, after years go on, things change. Kind of look what's happening with our Earth right now. It's going through shifts. We're going through the age of Aquarius very, very soon, probably towards the end of the next few months. And then, and this is going to be interesting too, I don't know if anybody knows, but in 3 to 4 months from now, NASA is saying that the magnetic field is going to flip. Basically, it's going to flip itself, and all shit is going to fly. It's already happening now. If you get your compasses and go facing north, it's like off, like quite a bit. So check it out. It's crazy, and more earthquakes and everything, volcanoes is going to continue. And the reason for all these sinkholes is most people think sinkholes is because it's raining a lot in different places and it's creating this hole. But in reality, the Earth is expanding, therefore the Earth is opening up. And once we go through this transition, everything is going to come back together, like in pieces with the Earth. So it's just expanding, it's going to come back, and so on, so on. And I know Peter can mention that a little bit better. So do you want to say a little bit more, or did I just cover it?
Well, you pretty well covered it, but pretty much, yeah, the Earth is going through a lot of tremendous change right now, as all of us as individuals are doing the same thing. So it is a time of great change, a lot of truth, etc. And so the Earth is expanding, it's changing, it's rearranging, and you're going to see tremendous amount of changes with a lot of stuff. The part that I like the best is so much truth is going to come out about all these different things and different programs that, a lot of bad stuff will be able to be stopped pretty much. And so we got really good times, dynamic times, changeable times, difficult times ahead. But the way my pa, kind of told me, he said, Guy, you're going into probably the most exciting period ever in history. And that's exactly what we're going into. So that's the way I feel that we all need to view it.
Guys, we have Steve Shankert. I probably messed up your last name, Steve. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Cool. How are you doing this evening?
Doing well. Thank you.
Good. Good.
Hey,
Steve and Travis, welcome to the show.
Hey, Travis. Yeah, I've been listening. Just thought I'd call and say hi, and especially to Mike. My thoughts and prayers with you and your aunt.
Thank you so much.
Nice to hear Kelly back.
Hey.
And Peter, of course. And Susan.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, Mike, I'm glad you mentioned that because several times it's popped into my head. And Mike's, and I don't know if you've heard any more, but she had basically her aorta kind of burst, Mike. Is that what happened? So she's in critical.
Yeah, I just had an update just before the show started. They called me up and they were telling, my brother was trying to call me, but we're currently on the show, so I couldn't answer his thing. So, but before the show started, they said that she has to have her heart totally removed. She's going to lose a lot of blood. Basically, she was working because she worked at a hospital. She works for Hoag. She's one of the main radiologists at the Hoag Hospital. And she was working, and then a coworker came in and said, "Do you need any help?" And she said no. And then she said, "Are you sure?" And my aunt, I guess, said, "No, I'm fine." And then the other coworker said, "No, you're not. Your face is turning." It was black. It started to turn black and blue, and she was sweating. According to the coworker, that she was just sweating, just really bad. And they took her to the ER. They put her on the X-rays and said, "You know what? You need to have surgery. You just burst your aorta, and it needs to, So they did all this thing. I guess she needs to have her heart removed. Something about putting in a artificial one or a mechanical one. Something along those lines.
So a transplant?
No, they're just taking the heart out to restore the aorta, and then they'll put the heart back in.
Yeah, I think they'll probably try to repair it.
Right. It's very extensive. It's very extensive. That's what happened to John Ritter.
Yes.
But he didn't get to the doctor in time. He went to the doctor. Doctor said nothing was wrong. Burst. There was no time. Yeah,
that's the interesting thing. You would think people would feel symptoms or something going on, and yet she works at the hospital. I mean, being in the medical field, I would think, and this is just me, I would think you would know symptoms to certain things and get medical attention, but I don't know. But she was in the right place at the right time for it to happen, because if she was at home and it happened, by the time the ambulance gets there, takes you, whatever,
it would have been too late, dude.
Right, and she was in the hospital already, and she worked there, so they have all the machines, everything they need really, really quick. So.
Well, medical personnel are so bad about taking care of themselves. Usually, they can preach to others, but they don't take their own advice. And whatever it is, they push it away and say, "Oh, it'll go away." So they're kind of the worst to actually sometimes take care of themselves, and they don't heed the warning signs that they tell us, as lay people to heed. So. But it's good that
all of us on this phone call tonight, Susan, we don't, because we're so into helping people too. We don't really heed what we need to, and it's something that we all need to listen to. We need to listen to ourselves, our bodies.
Very true.
That's true. Definitely true.
Steve, are you trying to tell me not to eat all of these jelly cream pies that we don't have in California and in Nevada and they have in Georgia?
Not at all, because I would love to try one right now.
Please don't. Please don't.
Not at all.
I've already eaten two.
Not at all. Enjoy. Enjoy.
We're little deadbeats,
Enjoy it.
Okay?
Enjoy it.
I do.
Think what it comes down to when it's our time, no matter what we do. So we want to make the best of our time and give during that time.
Yeah, I can tell you that.
I was just going to ask Steve what he was doing with the show, with Beyond Expo.
Oh, Well, I'm there to support Craig Avery and his film, Happy Families. Plus, I'll be getting in touch with Grundy. Yes, thank you. See, I messed up an easy name, Mike.
I know. Yeah.
And to speak, we're going to talk about, me and my MS and my comeback, that sort of thing. And to support all of you and to meet you. That's what I can't wait for.
Fantastic.
And to truly support, what you are doing, Susan.
Thank you,
with
Steve.
the developmentally disabled. I'm a big trusted soul in that. I worked many years with them. So
I know Steve knows firsthand because he's worked with those with special needs. So I know that his heart is exactly where it should be, in the right place, and he's been a supporter of us from almost the very beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah, Sean brought me in. He was the one who brought me in after I told him my story. That's how he and I became friends. And then I became his publicist.
And for those of you who don't know, Sean is his movie The Lackey is going to be our feature film at the we're trying. It's coming out, I believe, in September. It will be officially released. And so it's a great movie, guys. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if you've seen it, Steve, but it's a great movie.
Yeah, he sent me a clip to where I could go into it privately. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And he and Grundy, he and Guy and D.T. Carney, and it's just got my friend Vernon Wells is in it, who will also be at the expo. So a lot of great guys in it. And then I know that we're going to be kind of showcasing a trailer for Guy's movie, Guy and Dustin's movie, Any Which Way They Come. So,
and what about Del Zamora's? His upcoming movie?
Who's that?
Susan. Del Zamora.
Del Zamora, right? The Last Brown Berets, exactly. We'll be doing, I don't think it will be completed by that time, but we will be doing trailers from it. He's doing a lot of stuff, and Dale is just an amazing actor who has been in everything from True Blood to go on his Facebook page because he's done it all.
And you should have Craig's Happy Families soon. He's supposed to give it to Sean.
Okay. Yeah, so we can preview that, so we can get that on. So the movie, and we're being very, very selective with our movies. In fact, I have to be honest, you have to know us to get it in.
Well, truthfully, no, you do. You're absolutely correct. You bet. I had received a film that they wanted to show at your expo, and I don't agree with it. With the substance or anything. I don't think it will work at all. So I said no. Because I didn't want to waste your time looking at it. And I hope you trust my judgment.
Oh, absolutely. We've come, all of our family, Beyond family, we've come to know each other. So if one person says this doesn't work, we just take it as gospel and we're like, okay. And that's kind of how it works. And because one person can't do everything, and I am so blessed and so honored to have all these people. I couldn't tell you, Mike, God bless him a million times because he took over the website. I
know, and he's doing such a fantastic job.
Is he? Oh my God,
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I would almost kiss his feet. I'm telling you,
as long as he washes them first, then go ahead.
Yeah, and he's just awesome. Poor Kelly, even though she's been through all
Kelly,
these things.
My God, how much more can you take? My goodness, girl. My heart is there for you and my energy.
Thank you. It's I guess I'm finding out how strong I am. I'm going through, I guess, what you call a refining period. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at this as a growing experience because I know there's something that's coming pretty soon where I'm going to have to be prepared to handle a lot. So anyway, I'm looking at this as a positive thing. When I was going through it a couple of weeks ago, I wasn't, at this level.
And 2 weeks before that, and 2 weeks before that.
Exactly.
I know, it comes in every 2 weeks, right? But it's finished now. We're everybody send your energy. That is, everything is positive for Kelly.
I'm done with learning experiences for a while. I need to get some work done.
You bet. And I'm so happy. I was so happy listening to the show earlier and all of you laughing throughout everything that is going on around you, that you're still able to laugh. And that's important.
Oh, very important.
Kudos
laughter and
all.
love. Yes, laughter and love. Mm-hmm. And if you can laugh at a situation, if you can't laugh at yourself, then something's wrong. Now, I do get mad at my girls because they laugh at me much too often. But I know where they're coming from. And even though I walk out of the room and not talk to them for days, I still know where they're coming from. We have fun, even in our family. And it's so crazy sometimes. I will be in my bedroom and I'll hear this just cackling. You're like, what in God's name is going on? And I go, and Jamie and Jody are in the bed, and they're just cracking all these jokes, and they're being funny. And, they're sisters. So they're just, saying all these things, and then they're just dying laughing. They're rolling on the bed just laughing so hard.
Isn't that great to have that sound in the house?
Yes. Because
you betcha.
that's if you can't laugh at yourself and laugh at the things that go on, then, it must be a really not a great, your aura's off or something.
Right. Well, I think what it is, too, because we're all different types of souls. Some of us are young souls, medium souls, old souls. So maybe that has something to do with it.
That's true. And,
I think I'm coming from the older side, even though I'm
Wendy
60.
And Justin, just the sweet serenity, all of the people that we've been able to meet during this, with Travis. I mean, what can I say about Travis? Not only does he have the most incredible voice, but he's just a godsend to us. And Mike and Kelly and Peter.
Such a wonderful soul. I've got to say this right now to all of you. I'm so glad that you have accepted me in because I've met such wonderful, loving people.
Aww.
Mike, Peter, Kelly, Travis, Susan, all of you, truthfully. So thank you.
Aww.
Thank you so much.
That's sweet.
And that includes, of course, Sean, Guy, Steve, all of that. Is Steve there too?
Poor Sean, every time I tell him about a show, he's like, honestly, Susan, I'm going to get on. I promise. And then, something comes up. He's been doing a lot of commercials lately.
Yeah, he has.
And so, he has 2 little girls, and, he has to be daddy, and he takes this very seriously. And he's, the personalities, and Steve can attest to this, the personalities between Sean and Steve are just, not Sean and Steve, Sean and Guy, they are so totally different, and yet they're best buddies. But
and they created a triangle.
Yes.
The 3 of them created a triangle, and a good one.
And it is, I'm telling you, to go between them, if I have lunch with Sean or dinner, and then I see a guy in a week or so or a few days, it's just totally different. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, and they're both good. Sean is the ultimate professional. Mm-hmm. He takes his work so seriously, and he does. Guy flies by the seat of his pants half the
He
time.
does. Isn't that cool?
He
Isn't
does
that cool?
well.
And especially now, his baby's back. Jessie's back. So
Jesse's back. She is, and he's a great dad, by the way. Both those guys are like great dads. And look at Travis.
Well, all
every
three
time,
are.
Yeah,
and Travis,
every time I talk to Travis.
last week with his son. And with the dog, and with him smoking his cigar and drinking his red wine instead of bourbon on the rocks or a mint julep.
Yes, yes.
But then they both got sick. That was kind of the
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they both got sick. Then they had to recuperate, and then they had to go school shopping. So it was like, wow, these guys. As a mom, I always think, because a lot of the time I was a single mom, and we won't talk about my 4 marriages, okay? But I was a single mom, in my opinion. so with that, I just am amazed at all you guys. I have to admit, each one of you brings so much to my life. And in so many different ways, and it makes me laugh. When I think about you, I laugh and I smile, and there's joy in my heart and warmth. So, it's just awesome to have you guys.
That's sweet. That's the way I feel about all of you, too, and I've never met you. You guys have met each other. Jeez.
No, I haven't.
No. I think
really.
I think that's one of the areas that we all share in common is that we
haven't met.
We have not met. It is something that we have been drawn together because Steve, I echo exactly what you're saying. I have grown to love and respect each of these individuals that are involved with this project, and I truly am excited about what Susan and the foundation are trying to do there with the Pace Waters College. And with this event, and when I find individuals that are selflessly giving of themselves to try to make something come to fruition that is going to better not just the immediate individuals who need, but the long-term individuals years down the road who are going to be able to take advantage of and be helped by this college and this facility. I enjoy, and I am proud to say that I've aligned myself with that group of people.
Sweet, man. Like that. Very much. Yeah, it's almost like I feel as though I do know you guys in person.
Yeah, that's how. My computer, and Guy and Sean, all of those I know in person, and Vernon and Del Zamora. Del Zamora and I were on Hangover 3 together. So we had the most fun making. If you've never been on a movie set before, you sit and you wait. And you sit and you wait.
And you wait.
You do that for 12 hours, basically.
I did that with The Candidate with Robert Redford. My goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you sit, and I had the pleasure of, and believe me, I don't know these people. I really don't. But the lead guy, whatever his name is, that's terrible that I don't even remember his name. He bought me a Diet Pepsi. So,
sweet.
There you go, guys. Yeah.
Sweet.
He's like, I don't get it for you. This man was the star of the thing, went to get me a Diet Pepsi.
But that's kudos on his part. Very kudos.
Yeah. Guys, we are down to the last 4 minutes of the show, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Windy. Come now.
Well, I'll say my first goodbye. Mike,
okay.
Thoughts to you and your aunt. Peter,
thanks.
Always my best to you. Travis, you're the man. Kelly,
thank you, Steve.
Much love to you. Susan, kudos love to you.
Thank you.
The lady that answered the phone, I can't remember her name.
Wendy.
Also love to you. Wendy.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.
Good
night, guys. Rest well.
Good night, Steve.
I'll be in touch.
You too, Steve.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you for calling in. And everybody else, tune in this Friday to Mystic Moon Cafe. Wendy, you want to tell us about that really quick?
We'll have Jodie Foster back on again. She she's not the Jodie Foster. She's the Jodie Foster from Paranormal Witness. She has the episode The Apartment, and we'll be hearing about that and her time growing up in the mountains with a hippie peace freak mom, and just all kinds of fun stuff.
Ooh.
Sounds good.
That sounds fun.
Everybody tune in Friday. It'll be a great show. The song that we're playing, it's in the background right now. It's another I Shine song. The name of the song is called My Something New. I posted their Facebook page and their YouTube page in the chat room, and on Shadow Radio Wednesdays on Facebook. You can find our Facebook page. I posted that in the chat as well. So until then, thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and thank you for everybody who called in. And we'll see you next time on Shadow Radio Wednesdays.